Hey yo, what's good everyone? Welcome back to my channel. This is Mauro, and today, after I checked out the geography now Montenegro, guys, we're gonna react to Serbian, Bosnian, Croatian. What's the difference? Because some of you guys in the comment told me that I made a mistake, when I was talking about Serbo-Croatian, because it's not really considered a unique language. There are differences between those languages, and I was just speaking as as information that I gathered in the past, like learning languages, that they always tell you that it's kind of the same language, there's not really that much difference between one language and the other. So I don't know, I thought it was nice to get more knowledge on this matter, so I found this video that probably would clear every doubt that I have. So let's check it out and see what are the actual differences between these languages.
If you were ever in a conversation with a person from the Western Balkans and found out that you have the balls to assume they speak a certain language just because they come from a certain country, you probably found out how bad of an idea that was. If not, this video should serve you as a guideline on how to play real-life Minesweeper without the risk of losing those same balls. It could also be that you yourself are from the Balkans, and you already are the Stephen Hawking of Balkan politics and history, of course. You surely must know about the linguistic similarities and differences in this region. In any case, my extremely biased ass will do its best to present you an oversimplified history of how and why we have so many languages in such a small part of the world, even though in reality it's all the same language. Let's be clear, I am no linguist or whatsoever. I am just a person who grew up in Bosnia, where we have a quite clear understanding of how fucking stupid it is that people who perfectly understand each other learn different languages in school depending on where they live in this tiny crazy triangle in southeastern Europe. Correction, we have the opportunity to have a clear understanding of this, since we know how strongly ignorance can conquer a Balkan head.
Well, I don't know. I mean, Serbia has its own how to say, they write with Cyrillic characters. So I think being Serbian is not good to learn like a Croatian or Bosnian. It's better to learn just your own language. I don't know. If there's not much difference to it, I mean, there's still gonna be some difference. So I think anyone should learn the language of its own country, not like learn a language that is similar to yours, If it's something is your own, why do you have to learn something that is, how to say that, Like if I'm Bosnian, I was born in Bosnia, why do I have to learn Croatian? If there are some difference between Bosnia and Croatian, it makes no sense for me to learn Croatian, right? It's like I'm losing my something like patriotism, I don't even know how to say, well, my patriotic kind of thing, I don't know, that's just my opinion. Should learn your own language.
Nevertheless, let's try to unravel the shitbox of mysteries and once and for all find out what the fuck is going on here. As you may know, in Western Balkans we nowadays have Slovenian, Croatian, Bosnian, Serbian, Macedonian, Albanian, and Montenegrin.
Is that really a language, Montenegrin? I don't know. But like, I don't know. Like, I think those books, back when there was Yugoslavia, they were of teaching you Serbo-Croatian. But nowadays they will teach you either Croatian or Slovenian or Serbian. I don't know, Bosnian. I'm sure there are some books to learn Bosnian as well. I mean, here in Italy there are many Bosnian, more than Croatian or Serbian. So, I mean, at least where I live. So, I don't know, it will be interesting, to learn this language as well.
First of all, we will kick out Albanian, since the Albanian language from the ethnic majority in the disputed territory of Kosovo has nothing to do with any other Slavic languages,
yeah.
or
So
as a matter of fact,
I think Albanian is like its own language. It doesn't have any other language in common.
it doesn't belong to any language family on
Yeah,
Earth
that's
in
what
general.
I heard
Then
that
we can
before.
eliminate Slovenian and Macedonian, since they're linguistically distinct from our three main contestants. Ask any other person from ex-Yugoslavia you want to, these two aren't intelligible for everyone who speaks the other three. So we are left with these three hot potatoes which constantly give so many foreigners headaches and make them regret asking what's up with the languages in the first place. In the Republic...
I mean, I don't know. I remember back in the days I learned how to say, some phrases, you know, learning like that. You know, you just gotta learn like, if you want to, you know, if you're learning either Serbian, Croatian or Bosnian, the best way you can do is like find first a greetings in that language. You start like Serbian, you start with zdravo. Croatian, you start with a bok. Bosnian, I have no idea, I don't even know a word. But you do like that, and then you keep on in the other language. Probably people will not even realize that you're speaking, maybe if you're talking with a Serbian, you're speaking Croatian, you know? And like this, you will not have any problem, you know, because anyway, if you're not fluent, they're gonna think that you're learning Serbian, but you're learning it in a bad way, you know? Like stay in the manner that he's talking about if you don't want to get a headache, you know. That's my advice to you, but maybe it's just a stupid advice. I don't know, but like they can correct you, you know. They can still correct you and they won't get angry at you probably.
Of Croatia, the official language is, well, Croatian. In Serbia, it is Serbian, and in Bosnia and Herzegovina, it's, well, yeah, that's where the trouble comes. In Bosnia and Herzegovina, as you may know from my Bosnia Explained video or Balkans Explained video, we have three so-called constituent peoples who each have their own language. These are namely Serbs, Croats and Bosniaks. This wasn't always the case though. Up until 1992, we had an unified Yugoslavian Federation, where the official language was Serbo-Croatian. Yeah. But where did Bosnian and Montenegrin, which as you may have noticed I don't like mentioning, plop out then? What created three de facto languages?
Yeah, shouldn't they have called the language Yugoslavian, right? I don't know.
And so many dialects from one single unified language? I'm glad you asked. Let's dive into some sweet history.
This is very interesting.
So, where should we start? From the beginning, yes. I guess we could mark the creation of the first Yugoslav nation, aka the Kingdom of Serbs, Croats and Slovenes, as the beginning of our journey. Back then, we had Serbia as the only one of the future Yugoslav republics who is independent, and who, after the victory in World War I, thought it would be a great idea to annex a crap ton of Austrian lands, and instead of keeping the name Serbia, give all of the now liberated peoples, namely the Croats and Slovenes, split authority and importance within the country. Thus was the country named Kingdom of Serbs, Croats and Slovenes, and later changed to the Kingdom of Yugoslavia. Prior to this, the Serbs in Serbia had their own standardized Serbian language. On the other hand, we had the Croatian language, which was spoken, well, by the Croats, but under Austrian rule, who spoke its own version of the language, frankly very similar, but they just called it Croatian. So basically, we have a standardized version of Serbian and Croatian, both based on the Eastern Herzegovinian Shtokavian dialect, which got standardized as one language in 1850 at the Vienna Literary Agreement. Of course, the reality of this agreement wasn't as simple, and we didn't just magically get one language. This just served as a guideline and proof that the Serbian, Croatian and Slovenian linguists that attended this meeting came to the conclusion that their languages are, well, quite remarkably similar. With this meeting, they agreed upon some standard rules and guidelines for the three languages, laying down the foundation for their modern counterparts. And yes, Slovenian was also in this mix, as back then we officially had Serbo-Croato-Slovenian, despite the fact that Slovenia is to a great extent unintelligible with the other two. This process was strengthened with the formation of the first Yugoslav nation, where having a single language makes a lot of sense. This newly formed language became a pluricentric one, which basically means a language with several standard forms spread out to different countries. These standard varieties are mutually intelligible, excluding the crazy dialects spoken somewhere in the mountains. Speaking of dialects, we officially have Shtokavian, Chakavian, and Kaikavian. They're literally differentiated and called by the way how people say the word what. In Shtokavian it would be either Shto or Shta, and in Kaikavian it would be Kai, for example.
It's like Russian, Shto.
We can also divide the dialects by the way how most people write the long common Slavic vowel, Yat, and therefore we have Ikavian, Iekavian, or Ekavian. This is probably the most relevant distinction, as this is usually the way to assume which language someone speaks, as for example Kaikavian and Ekavian are associated with Croatian, and Ekavian is exclusively associated with Serbian. These can sometimes overlap and leave you wondering where the fuck this person learned to speak. Okay Serbian, that's all fine and dandy, but how did this beautiful mess lead to a less beautiful mess, aka the division of these languages into several more? The short answer is the breakup of Yugoslavia, and the long answer is, as everyone starts getting sick of each other and starts building their own countries, they don't really want to say they speak the same language as their ex-enemies. Therefore, are the social, political, ideological, and national viewpoints of the newly formed republics the deciding factor in the division of the Serbo-Croatian language. These distinctions have been and are still being drawn among ethnic and political lines, but we are talking about the Balkans, and these lines get blurry as hell very quickly. Especially in the hotbed for bullshit, Bosnia-Herzegovina. After the breakup of Yugoslavia, the Bosniak Muslims also wanted their own language, of course, which was just simply given to them. Then the Serbs and Croats also wanted to have nothing to do with each other, which made the rest of Serbo-Croatian finally split in half. Then, with the rise of Montenegrin nationalism, the Montenegrin language started becoming a thing.
Yeah, we learned that Montenegro was the last to break up from Yugoslavia.
In the end, we are left with several de facto languages, which are only a sign of a political and ethnical division, since all this, from a linguistic perspective, makes very little sense. The distinct dialects are a much better way of differentiating someone's speech than the politically induced languages. A person from Slavonia, a part of Croatia, who speaks Iekavian Croatian may perfectly understand a person from Krajina, Bosnia, who speaks either the Bosnian or the Serbian standard form of also Iekavian. On the other hand, that same person from Croatia wouldn't understand a word his fellow Dalmatian Croat says, as they speak the Ekavian dialect of Croatian. Add the Shtokavian and
Yeah, but that's pretty normal. I mean, if I hear some people from the south of Italy speaking dialect, I won't understand a word either, so...
Kavian distinctions in the mix, and you got yourself a headache. Conclusively, we could say that the artificial division of these languages brought nothing but even more madness to this already crazy region. It really doesn't matter how people call these languages, since it's a scientific fact that these are so similar to the point it shouldn't be linguistically differentiated. They're so similar that the similarities can directly be compared with the American, British, and Australian versions of English, or for example the different dialects of German or Arabic. Although, as we have seen, this has nothing to do with common sense, so I guess we should award Balkan nationalism with the prize as the unstoppable force, bending logic, space, and time. But if you want me to bend your mind in the future with some more content about Balkan history and politics, be sure to subscribe and support my channel with a like on this video and by checking out my older videos. Thanks for watching and see you next time.
Wow, this was really interesting. I gotta say that. I'm starting to... So I was kind of right when I said that they were pretty much, very similar, these languages, But I think it's okay. I think it's okay. In the video it says that it doesn't make any sense, you know, to differentiate these languages by linguistic point. But I don't know. I don't know. I feel like if you don't want to have anything to do, your country doesn't want to have anything to do with other country that they speak the same language. I don't know. I think if you want to call your language, even if it's the same language, there are still some difference, you know? You can call it that way, you know, like dialects. Most of the dialects, they're intelligible. Like, I can speak the Piemontese dialect and the Lombard dialect. I can understand pretty much everything, even other dialects from the north of Italy, but still, I don't call them all with the same name, you know? I think, I don't know. This kind of thing just make you get a headache. If from Bosnia they want to call their language Bosnian, go ahead, do it. If you want to call it Croatian, go ahead and do it, or Serbian, whatever. There are books that they teach you that language. That means that people make the effort to try to teach you their language. So even if there are just small differences, you know, they're still teaching you their language and not another language. You will be still intelligible if you go to the other country and speak the language you learn. Like if you learn Croatian and go to Serbia, they will still understand you, like he said, but you learn the Croatian. So I don't know. I think the way they did to me, it's okay. I don't have anything else to say. I'm just glad that I checked out this video and I cleared many doubts that I had in my head. So guys, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and let me know down below what you want me to comment to react to next. And I will see you next time.